Hey guys, this is Will with CBE Garage, coming at you with a classy filming setup to talk about an extremely classy vehicle. I want to talk about daily driving a 240SX in 2024 and why you probably should not do that. I've been driving 240 since I was 16. My hatch was my first car. I dailied that for about a year. I've had an R33 Skyline, non-turbo. I've had an RB swapped S14. And it never ends with these cars. I do love them for some reason, but it is just the epitome of class. Couldn't imagine anything else I'd rather be daily driving than this thing right here. Wait, which one's inconspicuous versus conspicuous? I get those two.
Inconspicuous is like a sleeper.
Okay, yeah. I got my first 240 in 2017. It was my S13 hatch, had 90K miles. I got it for $2,500. And yeah, that's running. That's with an engine. No, it's not how it is now. But I daily drove that for about a year until I blew up that dual cam. And I was essentially cursed at that point. I couldn't get out of 240s already. And I just knew I had to build a perfect daily driver 240. There's not a lot of good things to say. It's fun. It's fun. My consolation prize was getting a Skyline for a while. That was a non-turbo. It was so reliable. That's my only reliable car. I traded that for my S14. My S14 got smashed head on. Put some pictures in here. That was a fun experience dealing with insurance. But I'm finally back in an S chassis. I traded a Mustang for this, and it blew up on the way home in true S chassis fashion. So effectively, I paid $9,000 for a shell. And yeah, that is more like today's prices. But no, I got it. Plan to daily drive it home, just be a reliable daily while I build the hatch. But no, this one blew up, and I had to build this one instead because it was stuck in my job. So yeah, let's talk about why you probably should not do this. Biggest thing, first off, is this your only car? If it is, you're not going to have a car very much, because I have had about 2 months of driving this thing in the past year, and that's this past 2 months after I finished it. Same thing went for my hatch. I got a year out of it, but it's been sitting for a year and a half. The S14, it was pretty good, but when it went down for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And if you're like me and you put every dollar you have into your piece of shit S chassis, you're probably still living with your parents. So luckily they can get you to work, to your AutoZone or Brewster's job, whatever it may be, and you can continue to dump your paycheck into your car. Or you could just buy a 98 Corolla, your call. But say you love the car, you're like me, and you want to hurt yourself. So here's what we did. First thing, this car was a single cam with a valve tap. I'll put a video of that in here also. All right, let's talk about the tools you're going to need to drive with every single day and constantly have with you, because your car's a nightmare and there's no getting around that. So this is what I drive with every single day. Start from over here. Jumper cables, obvious. This is just a box of wrenches, random stuff. A funnel. This is for when your gas gauge stops working and you run out of gas and someone has to get you gas, but the stupid gas can you buy at the gas stations, lip filler thing keeps getting caught on the gas door, so it doesn't work, and then you have to go cave in and buy a funnel anyway. It helps to just have one. So I use that funnel, stick it down in the gas tank, and you can just dump the gas can in there rather than using that stupid filler neck they give you. Pretty much anything that you could possibly need. If you need to do a head gasket on the side of the road, I carry it. And here's the last part of that, but it still breaks quite often. It doesn't help that much. Also good for oil or coolant or a number of other liquids that these cars consume. Always have a 1/2 inch impact, because you never know when the axles are coming out. Always have an auto ratchet, so it makes a bunch of stuff faster.
Would you like to explain what we're doing?
Putting the knock sensor on under this manifold.
Obviously a jack. Should really add a spare tire to this setup, but I'm a 240 owner and I can't afford a 5th wheel, so don't have one of those right now. And this box got long wrenches, lights, screwdrivers, all the random stuff that doesn't have a place. Here, got 3 drawers, all my sockets, wrenches, just essentials, you know. You either really like these cars or you hate yourself. There's really no two ways about it if you choose to daily drive one of these. Got a breaker bar, flare nut wrenches for brake lines that like to come loose while you drive, a 3/8 impact, and then always a quart of oil. Now, a lot of these problems are preventable. Some of them are my fault. This chassis has 230,000 miles on it. If you're looking at 2024, I'd estimate anything you look at is going to be pretty close to the same. And some of them will be your fault too. Always like to have the tool though. For example, I broke down in a driveway one night and had to do wheel studs. But I had everything to do it. So you never know when you're going to break down. You never know when your head gasket's going to blow. And you never know when you're going to have to do a 5th oil pan gasket because you hit the wrong pothole. Another thing I did on this car is I made it as easy as possible to work on while we were building it. So a lot of the coolant stuff is all AN routed. There's only 3 vacuum lines on the whole car. It's all super, super easy to work on. That's because a lot of stuff is deleted. There's no ECU, or there's no stock ECU. There is an ECU. It's a link ECU now, and pretty much just revamps the entire way the car runs. There's no PCV system, no EGR system. I can have the head off of this motor real quick if I need to, which has happened before and will happen again. Like I said, this is my daily. I've got about 800 miles on it now since I finished it. It's been relatively fine other than the oiling fun, and I can't make it stop pissing oil. I think I have now, but time will tell. It's been good to daily drive otherwise. Now, if you're stock, you're going to have a lot going on in this engine bay. You're going to have lines going everywhere, spark plug wires. You're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. And a lot of that stupid little 90s, 30-year-old stuff can go wrong. For example, every time you try to unplug something, you're going to have clips that break. Or, I don't know, you're going to have little Phillips head screws that strip. Just think of everything as 30 years old. So try to make everything as new as I possibly could. And honestly, I get really nervous driving without any of this stuff now because of how much has gone wrong driving these cars, which comes with the territory from what I hear. We're checking the oil now. Gut feelings. So you're getting some extreme dipstick ASMR right now. Yeah, oil almost looks too full, which I'm never going to complain about because that means it's not going anywhere for now. Okay, now let's talk about some things I've done to the car that make it a little more dailyable. Being easy to work on in the engine bay was number 1 of those things. Number 2 is this right here. This is a PowerTune digital dash. This is the new one they recently came out with that has an onboard GPS module, which is super awesome. This was easily the best 550, whatever. I got it on Black Friday. Great investment. I don't have to buy 6 different gauges and mount them throughout the interior. Eventually this will be mounted in the actual cluster, but this will read me my RPM, intake temp, boosts, battery voltage, water temp, oil pressure, fuel pressure. It's got an odometer, always got AFR. You got a bunch of different screens you can go through. This isn't sponsored or anything, by the way, but it could be. And yeah, overall, I think it's great. I have no issues with it, and it works really well. It's super fast, very responsive. Once it's actually mounted in there, it'll be a little easier to look at, but only thing I got to figure out is the blinkers. That is a big thing that makes it way easier because you don't have a bunch of gauge pods under your A-pillar, you don't have any on your steering wheel, and you don't have a bunch of wiring going all throughout your car, making you have to take your dash apart to go fix it, which make things nice. Another thing I got is I have this 3D printed cup holder because the stupid tray they include there from the factory. If you've tried to use it as a cup holder, I'm sure we've had similar results, and you know how that went. So yeah, having an actual 3D printed cup holder in here is pretty cool too. I did actually connect my heater core, so I have working heat. Only thing I don't have yet is AC, but it's coming. And yeah, I drive this thing every day. It starts up almost every time if it's not dumping oil into cylinder one's coil pack. And drive-wise, it does fine. I don't have any huge issues with it. It has your normal 90s car rattles, but I expect a lot more problems in the future to fix, which of course will lead to more upgrades in the future. So it's not a huge problem. But if this is the car life you want, it could be for you. I guess it's for me, and we kind of wish it wasn't some days, but I seriously do love these cars, and I don't think I'll ever have a period in my life where I don't have an S chassis. But daily driving in 2024, it's possible, but you shouldn't unless you want to spend some money. Full disclosure, shell, parts, engine build, everything. I'm about $20,000 into this car, and it looks like shit. There's no two ways of putting it. So we got a lot more progress to come, a lot more still to do, especially cosmetically. But I appreciate you watching. So one more point I want to bring up is driving this thing in an urban environment every day. So I live in downtown Atlanta, and the roads here are horrible. They've taken one oil pan from me so far. But more so, I want to talk about not getting your car stolen. For me, this is a pretty big concern. It's like, for example, if you go out your front door and you just look and you see fields, tractors, hay, anything like that, this doesn't apply to you. Because my car is so bare bones, I haven't even patched up like the ECU panel yet. But literally, every time I go anywhere, it's just these two plugs. I just take the ECU with me. Throw it in your hoodie pocket, throw it in your girlfriend's purse, whatever. Car's not going anywhere without an ECU, and obviously a stock ECU won't even plug into here. So your car won't go anywhere. Another thing, my car is so messed up that the clutch actuator switch, or the clutch safety switch, doesn't actually engage because the little nub that sticks off the pedal is bent. So I have a physical factory kill switch built into my car, so I have to reach under the dash and press the button every time. It's another great way of making sure your car won't start if you don't want it to. You could also do an actual kill switch, but it's not really 240 style to do anything that perfect. So yeah, that's the way I do it. I'm sure your mileage will vary on how you do it. But yeah, I'd literally just take the whole ECU out, carry it with you, and your car won't go anywhere. This whole video has been non-scripted. Appreciate y'all watching. If y'all want more style content like this, let me know. Love showing you all around the car. Anything you want me to show you how to do or set up on the car, I'd be happy to take you through it. The S Chassis community on YouTube is always super cool. But yeah, I appreciate y'all watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'll keep bringing more. And hopefully there won't be 2 months, 3 months between the next upload. Anyway, good luck keeping your cars on the road, and hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching.